welcome back. It's still Legally Speaking. My guests, panelists are still here. Gentlemen, before we went on that short break, we talked about acts that are unlawful and that the law regards them as not being in existence. But before we conclude that aspect, there is this issue. I think it's a judgment that nobody is allowed to benefit from his wrong. It seems to me that that principle also goes to support this judgment. Chief.
Fine. It is apt.
Okay.
It is apt. Nobody benefit from his own wrong.
Yes.
It supports also the judgment. You know, the Supreme Court is why they are supreme. So Peter once said that Peter said we are supreme because we are infallible.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court is infallible because after that, no other place. Yes. Before they come to any decision, they would have looked at the society, the law, and all things.
Yes, you know, that reminds me that there's this issue that we normally discuss in the office under police procedure.
Yes.
Supreme Court, somebody was brought to court, and they were saying that when they want to arrest him, that he ran away. Therefore, they should not give him bail. Supreme Court said no, he is supposed to run away.
He's supposed to run away. Because if you want to catch somebody, why would you run?
That if the police is looking for you, every wise man is at liberty to run away.
It's for the police to catch you.
And the lower court were making news that it's evading arrest. They say it's only a tree that here that you cut it and
if you want to catch me and I know you is for harm, won't I run away? So now
Supreme Court is
they look at all things. You cannot benefit from your own wrong. They have seen, the facts are there. That this man knew at the beginning that he is supposed not to come to the house.
Yes.
And he insisted in being there at his own peril. Now, if he has forced himself on us, he has festered himself on us illegally
and collected our money.
Is he supposed to benefit from his own force?
He cannot.
So that's
the position of the law. It's a decision of the Supreme Court.
Benefit from his own wrong.
Now, Section 31(8) of the Electoral Act. Let me read it.
Okay.
Section 31(8), it says, a political party which presents to the commission the name of a candidate who does not meet the qualifications stipulated in this section shall be guilty of an offence and on conviction shall be liable to a maximum fine of 500,000. Now the issue here is a candidate is not qualified. His guilt can also affect the party. Because it's settled law now that it is the party that screen and present candidates. And I'm worried because the Supreme Court did not say anything about the party that actually presented those candidates.
No, I think what Supreme Court is saying, as he said earlier, that they only activate. What they've done is that there is already a provision for the party. Punishment for the party.
Which was not pursued in that case.
Yeah, they were not pursued, but they were there. It's for INEC to carry on because INEC is supposed to be the prosecutor there.
Yes.
Yeah, so why Supreme Court, I'm sure, as he has said, even before we started this program, that they, being the Supreme Court, they have to look at all avenues. They've seen this thing, they know this one.
Yes.
That look, the parties are taking their decision, but the most beneficiary of such illegality are the individuals.
Chief, is it not? I think that it is from the reliefs. Lawyers normally omit this. They don't try to enforce this section.
That is what the Supreme Court looked at what was presented to them.
Yes.
But they, like I said, that particular thing now, they have activated it. That look, if a candidate, which is the political party, rightly presented, because they are the people who present the candidate, is 40. That is a conclusion that the political party was wrong in presenting that person. Yeah. So there is no need in litigating even that particular area.
Yeah, but there's a fine.
It's only for the for INEC to ask the party
to bring
the fine, to bring that money.
Yeah.
You
it's clearly stated.
It's clearly.
But the way it is couched here, this 318, it looks to me to be a criminal offence.
No, both of them are criminal
the offence now, the penalty has been prescribed. That is, there's no more penalty.
So it's a criminal offence.
It's a criminal offence.
The penalty has been prescribed.
Yes.
It's the 500,000.
Yes.
What INEC will do now is to say there is no more litigating it because it has been shown by this conviction here that what you presented was wrong.
Yes.
You cannot say we did not know. How would you not know?
Yes.
You are after all, people, when the candidate pay money to their parties for nomination and all that, that money is to enable the party do the needful, investigate, do the investigation, certify the person, screen him, and be sure that this person is right and proper person and fit to contest this election. Where they have omitted what they're supposed to do and present, in some circumstances, in most circumstances, I may say, the parties knew that this person is not.
Yes, this replacement of candidates.
They knew now.
Godfatherism, all these things come to play.
We
don't
need to mention names, but there was a particular election, a governor. You know, somebody won the nomination.
Yes.
There was a second person, there was a third person. This person they presented was never part of that nomination process. Even the money, banks, the date you pay will be registered on the teller. It was much later. The impunity, he became a governor. It was the Supreme Court that sacked him. He became a governor.
The case we are talking about is everywhere. It's no longer. It's yet we know. So
he became a governor.
Now let me say this. You know why I took us to this angle is every candidate that was removed by the courts for not being qualified it means the party that presented such candidate is already guilty of an offence, and a fine of 500,000 is resting on that party, on the candidate.
That's what I said, that section do not need any further litigation.
No, it doesn't.
Further this thing. What INEC will do is to collect the numbers of those candidates that were disqualified by courts. Yes. And ask the parties that presented those candidates on this so and so candidate, pay us the money. Bring the money.
But why is it that INEC cannot find it?
No. They need to. That is why this discussion is here. We need what we are doing is to trigger. We've triggered it. So from today, INEC, those who are watching it,
because a lot of money
need to do.
I know in the last election, in the last election, more than 20 people were disqualified. More than
one state
that's one state now. That is one state now.
The money is piled somewhere. Political parties, they have money. They collect the money.
Like there was a state that almost all the legislation were removed.
Yeah, there is.
So those one, if they are 20, 500,000 times 20.
There is a lot of money.
INEC collect it if they don't know what to do with it.
So, gentlemen, this particular judgment, how will it affect electoral litigation in 2019? Al?
No, very well, because the election 2019 will be a very decent election. Because even if you come and force me to go there, I will say no, I'm not qualified. You know that kind of a thing.
Then you will screen themselves.
No, that is what the law. That's why I keep telling people that we should not just throw the baby and the bathwater. Gradually we are coming. The country is stabilizing. And when the electoral process is stabilized, everything will follow. It's just like what the Bible used to say.
Yeah, so,
yes.
Chief, what's your comment on that?
That is it. He's right. That is, my colleague has said it all. This thing follows now. If you are wise, those who have ears, let them listen. If you are wise, the wise counsel on you. Let the wise counsel prevail on candidates and parties. If an INEC start collecting the money prescribed, and the individual realize that even after 3 years, you are found to not have been there where you are, and then the money you have earned, you are supposed to refund it, what is the need of wasting their time and energy? In fact, whatever legislation you are part of it is null and void. You cannot be reckoned with as a member of the House at any time.
You are not there.
It will also affect.
You cannot even be found to like a senator. You cannot attach that name.
No, you were never there.
You were never there. Ab initio.
You were never there.
It seems like in Anambra State, you know, there was is it 1 month or so governor?
Yes.
And Uba was
governor for 1 month.
1 month governor.
Yes.
But the law said, the Supreme Court said, let it not be mentioned at all that he was once.
I was never there. even the Supreme Court on Amechi and Omeha.
Yes.
Said that the name Omeha is Amechi.
Yes.
No, that is
what it is. So it is not going to be mentioned that Omeha was.
So Omeha was never a governor.
Yes.
It's the same thing with Ngige. You don't reckon that Ngige was once.
He was never a governor.
So if you make such effort in illegality just to become a governor or a member of a Senate or House, yes. At the end of the day, you are removed and asked not to be mentioned as being so.
And then they have added another one that you should return all the money you earned.
Return all the money you have earned. If you are governor, whatever you have spent, even the security vote you spend, you must
return it because you're not supposed to secure anybody.
Spend it in the first place. So if such be the case, you understand?
Yes.
Then why it is only a fool who will know that he's not qualified who will gamble it?
Well, gentlemen, we can continue this forever, but time is not always a friend. Thank you, Prince Al, for coming to the program.
Thank you very much.
And Chief, I am grateful for having you on set today. Viewers, this is how far we can go on the program. Join us in this conversation on the social media addresses on your screen right now. Let us know your position. Let us know your own contention on these issues. Until we see you next time, my name is Chijioke Kanu. Keep obeying the law.